Hi, my lovely people. Happy Sunday. Yes, happy Sunday. So today, I woke up full of beans, absolutely full of beans. Had a shower, dressed, made myself a coffee. I was so full of beans that as I still am full of beans, sorry. I'm so full of beans that as I was having a coffee, I decided to do this deep clean around the kitchen and the conservatory. I don't know, I just feel full of energy. So yeah, you're gonna go to the shop with me very quickly because I need to get some sunflower oil, so I can start with the dinner or lunch or whatever, As I said before, we don't really have lunch and dinner, we have something in between. At the weekends, because on weekdays we do have a time, we have dinners usually evening between 6 and 8 o'clock, no later than 8, usually around 7. That's the time that we usually have dinner, right? So yeah, I'm gonna go and buy some oil. By the way, as you know, today's the next part of the story of when I suffered the stroke. Yes, so what I'm gonna say, there's a lady in front of me with a dog. What shall I do? Shall I stop recording or shall I try to walk faster? And I think I'm gonna, whichever way I do is an inconvenience. It's inconvenient to me, and I'm sure to her as well. So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna speak for a bit and then I think I'm gonna pause and so as I was saying, today's the next part of the story of my stroke. Yes. Oh, before I tell you, get on with telling you the story. I was trying to convince my husband to interview him. He's like, no. I said, please, I won't show your face, just your voice, nothing else. Well, people who will know who I am. I said, how will they know who you are? Because they associate me with you. I'm your husband. I said, yes, obviously, those who know you, my husband, the people that we know, people, well, the wide, double D, wide. Yeah, people on the internet, they have no idea who you are. They don't know who I am. They don't know who I'm married to. They just hear your voice, nothing else. He walked away. I'm going to try to convince him again. I really will, because he's got some interesting things to say, especially in relation to the video I recorded yesterday about being married to an English person. That'll be nice, wouldn't it, to hear from his prospect. In terms of being romantic, communication, everything like that. So it'll be an interesting conversation between him and I, because I'm sure it just won't be me questioning. Oh my god, it's so windy today. So windy. By the way, when I was telling him about this storm Margaret, he's like, what do you mean Storm Margaret? I said, that's the name of the storm. He said, I don't know. I said, you told me that's the name of the storm. I said, I had no idea what storm is called. I just made the name up. So anyway, going back. So if I interview him, I guarantee it won't be just me asking him questions. It's going to be, an interaction because, so it'd be interesting, wouldn't it? So I'm trying to convince him. Let's hope that he accepts at some point. Let's hope he accepts the challenge. I very much doubt it, but I'm being hopeful at the same time. I'm being extremely hopeful. So yeah, let's see how it goes. Anyway, now moving on to the real reason of this video. Carry on with the next part of the story of my stroke. To be honest, I don't remember it's part 4 or part 5, whichever part it is. This is the next part of the story. So yeah, so the night before, the evening before, I went to pick up the results when I'm not sure if the name is endoscopy. I should have researched. I know I always say I should have searched. I should have prepared the material, but I don't. As I always say, now I started saying lately, perhaps I should change the name of this channel to All Over Sal, because I'm all over the place. I don't do any planning. I just go with whatever's going on in my mind, So yeah, I went to pick up the results in the evening, and then so the doctor said to me, then the next morning I had an appointment with the doctor. He looked at the results. He said, well, I can see the doctor said, I can see that you appear to have a problem with your heart. And so he explained to me there's some, especially with young people, when they suffer strokes, it's something related to the heart. The valve of the heart has got a fault to it. And then he said, however, I cannot be certain of it. But that appears to be the case. When he said that to me, my heart just dropped. Just automatically dropped. Oh my God. That's the neurologist, the top neurologist in Portugal. He said, yeah, that appears to be the case. So I said, okay, what is the procedure here then? What do I have to do? Can you tell me what I've got to do? He said, is it easy to sort it out? I said, yeah, we just have to operate that valve on you. And he explained what it was, they do this. Have I already explained this to you guys? I don't remember. Please, if I already talked about this in the previous video, please forgive me. I don't go and watch what I record. I just carry on with what's in my mind. So he said, essentially, we just put like one of those things. Essentially, we just put one of those, those metal thin tubes. It's got a camera, and it's also got the apparatus to operate you. I'm sure you've seen it in films and documentaries. So he said, we do that one there, one there, and then we do this, fix this way, that way, and it's done. And then I asked him, when can the operation be performed? He said to me, with such operation, they don't do it in a private clinic. He has to go in main hospital. I think so. I think that's what he said, because it wasn't really a major operation. To be honest, I don't remember what he said. It's at the private clinic or at the main hospital. He said what he said. So I've got to get you to do the next test. Oh, I think I told you about this, didn't I? I remember now. I did tell you about this. When they put me in this machine, and that machine scans me, and the people have to completely leave the room. Yes, not just stay behind the door, not completely leave the room, actually leave that area. They had to go to this other room, which is protected against this nuclear radio. I don't know. So they had to go to a different room altogether with the protection that'll stop these wavelengths getting to them. Not sure what I'm using the right terms or not. I know I should know this, shouldn't I? Because I have got a degree in chemistry, but that's like from 25 years ago, so it doesn't really matter anymore, does it? So, oh yes, I remember. Yes, I remember now. So I told you about this. I had my conversation with the doctor, and then I went to pick up the results again from this spaceship that they put me through. So yeah, it took about 2 to 3 days to pick up the results, and then obviously between those 3 days, a lot of things, bad things going through my mind. I told my cousin I wasn't gonna make it until the end of 2021. I had the stroke in 2020, September 2020. I wasn't gonna make it to the end of 2021. I spoke to my husband. Obviously, they're all upset. I was extremely upset. My cousin said, don't say that, please don't ever say that. I understand you're really upset what's happened to you. I said, no, you don't understand. The doctor said, I've got a heart problem. if I don't get operated as soon as possible, I may die. So the doctor didn't even say I had a heart problem. The doctor said he couldn't confirm at the time. So that's me, between me and waiting, me and having to do that endoscopy test, and then the second one, which confirmed everything. The doctor didn't confirm. He said, it looks like you do have it, but I cannot confirm it right now until you do the final test. So yeah, so anyway, I took then 2-3 days later, I picked up the results. I didn't open the results because I didn't want to, be even more traumatized, because maybe I wouldn't even know how to read the results. So that's the point I got to last time. So in the morning, I went to have the appointment with the doctor to go through the results and talk about what the next step was. So the doctor analyzed my results and he said, no problem with your heart whatsoever. No problem with your heart whatsoever. So you're fine when it comes with your heart. No problem at all. Obviously, I was over the moon. No problem with your heart. But from the point that technician that did the endoscopy, when they put the camera in my mouth to see the initial step, the initial exam. So yeah, I've been to the shop, I bought the oil, I'm going back home now. So as you can imagine, I was so traumatized from the point the technician told me there's a problem. He knew what my issue was, whether I suffered the stroke, was a problem with my heart. So having to do a second test, I was so traumatized that it took me a while to accept that there was no problem at all with my heart. No problem at all. And there's still the fact of the aneurysm, because the doctor didn't confirm to me whether the aneurysm is there or not. Just looked through the results, etc. There's no confirmation at all at this time what was going on with my aneurysm. So I did a DNA test. I did all sorts of tests, every single test known to man, and it came 0. They could not find a reason why I suffered the stroke. So, and then by that time, actually no, let me go back, because he telling me the results of the test was the final exam, which was past Christmas already. I was still in Portugal past Christmas. So let me take a few steps back, because I like to know about my situation outside the tests and examinations, being out of the hospital morning, afternoon, evening. So by then, around beginning of December, mid-December, my cousin had to return to Angola. So I left at her home all by myself in her house. And and there was a very high possibility that I was going to spend Christmas in Portugal, which I did, because, as you know, I received the final results after Christmas. So then there's a risk of me being there by myself, or don't get to see the results and speak to the doctor on the phone. So I much prefer to stay there just to receive the results in person. Because if anything happens, if I had to be operated, at least I was there already, right? Or if I had to do some other test, I was there already. So meanwhile, my cousin returned. I was communicating with my husband. I said, listen, I decided to stay in Portugal to receive the results face to face. He said, no worry. I said, that means I'm going to spend Christmas here by myself. He said, well, do you want me to come over? Yes, come over. So he said, okay, let's have a look where you need to come over, because at the time people were still in quarantine, and Portugal is a lot much stricter than in UK, because to enter UK you didn't have to do any tests to enter the UK. All you had to do, get the airport, get home, and lock yourself at home for 7 days. However, to enter Portugal, you had to do the tests before you entered Portugal. I don't know what would happen if you had to, if I think if you came positive, you wouldn't be allowed to enter the airplane. Anyway, so that's the case. You had to do the tests. So we tried to find several places. Well, I didn't even ask my husband. I said, listen, I booked a place for you and for you to go and do the test. And he said, what do you mean? What details? Well, I gave your name, your date of birth. They said, how dare you do that? And I completely understand it. I said, you know, I'm so private. I want to be outside this quarantine world. I don't want them to have my details at all. How could you give them my details without checking with me first? And I agree with him on this one, because I'll be exactly the same. I'll be after him if he did the same to me. So no, cancel them immediately. I don't care. And the test at that time was so expensive. It was £120 just to do a bloody test, right? So he was really upset with me. Said, no. How they give my result, my details, my address, my name, my date of birth to somebody? I don't want my name in the system. I don't care about it. Sorry, I'm much rather. He was so upset with me at the time. Obviously, that made me extremely upset as well, because I was so vulnerable, right? I was so extremely vulnerable at that time. Honestly, if my husband had spoken to me right now, I wouldn't have been reacting the same way. I would have gone back to them, would have argued, whatever would happen. I was so extremely vulnerable. So I left that phone call crying, really upset. Obviously, I didn't cry when I was speaking to him on the phone, but when I hung up the phone, I was crying. And then I was gonna, there's a prospect of me spending Christmas all by myself, etc. So, yeah, my husband ended up not going to Portugal because he had to do the tests. He had to go whole process, you know, which is awful. The test, they had to put this horrible cotton. Have you ever done it? That cotton bud in the back of your throat. That's horrible. And actually, for me to go and do the tests, these exams in Portugal, I had to do the test every single time. How awful is that? That's awful, isn't it? To enter the hospital. And by the way, all this came negative. And to be honest, I've read as well, and I actually watched some nurses and doctors talking on YouTube. You don't need to put it all the way back to the throat. It even makes some people. No, you can just put it at the front there. No need to go back. But I don't know. Some people are masochists. They like to hurt others. They think maybe to insert that cotton bud all the way back to your throat. I don't know what's wrong with some health professionals. So never mind. So my husband ended up not going to Portugal, and which, by the way, meanwhile, I speak to my friend, my beautiful friend George in Porto. I can mention his name because you don't know who you are, and very close people know who he is. So he's. I contact him. I was already speaking to him anyway, even before I knew my husband wasn't gonna come to Portugal. I phoned him to tell him the news. Obviously, he was extremely upset, and then he said, "Oh, who you guys going to spend Christmas with?" I said, "Oh, all by ourselves." He said, "Okay, come and spend Christmas with us." He didn't know my husband was going to come at the time because I believe my husband's going to come and spend Christmas with me at the time in Portugal. He had no idea. And then I phoned him, listen, unfortunately my husband can't come because of this and I said, do not worry, just pack your bags and come over here. So beautiful my friend was. Meanwhile, I was speaking with the hospital to see whether I'll be able to receive results before Christmas, on the 23rd at least, so I could get 23rd of December so I can get myself back to the UK. But they said that we can't guarantee that will happen, so don't book your flight to UK yet, because there is a risk that we'll get the results for you even after Christmas, so don't book your ticket just yet. So then I spoke to my friend. He said, no worries, if if they don't give you the results of the final test, that's the one where the doctor told me that I was fine. I know I'm going back and forth. You're probably thinking, what test? You've already told us about the test. You've already told us that the doctor said everything is right with your heart. So if you remember, I said, let me take a few step backs so you know when I get to the bit. So because I missed a big chunk, the chunk that I actually ended up, and why I ended up spending Christmas in Portugal. So I went a few step backs before the doctor told me about the results. Everything was alright in my heart. So meanwhile, I was liaising with my friend in Portugal, so beautiful friend, you know, he's such an amazing person, you know, a person just so good with his heart. And then I'm going to tell you as well, perhaps I'll tell you the story of him, how I met him, and the troubles that he's went through his life. So 22nd came, nothing. Yes, actually, my cousin was there. My cousin didn't leave at the beginning of December. No. She left around the 21st, 22nd, whilst I was waiting for the results. And that's why I told her about me. I say I was going to die between the end of 2021. I'm sorry it's confusing to you guys. I'm sorry, but it's also confusing to me because I'm trying to organize my memory. And as I tell you, my memory starts to come back, so apologies. So my cousin actually left Portugal. She didn't leave beginning of December. She left beginning of the 20th of the month. So she left me there whilst I was waiting for the results to arrive. And her auntie went back to her house, and her auntie was really upset that I didn't spend Christmas with her. But I didn't want to spend Christmas just because of. I want to actually spend Christmas with somebody I was really close to. I'm close to her auntie, but it wouldn't have been the same. I much prefer spending Christmas with my friend. She's just full of love, happy conversations, etc. So I said, listen, I know your auntie is upset, but I need to spend Christmas with those who I feel most comfortable with. It's going to bring happiness to my life. Do you see what I mean? So I said, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do about it. Oh yeah, but she knows upset. So listen, she can be upset all she wants. If she wants to make it all about her, let it all be about her. I'm going to be all about me. So anyway, the results finally arrived on the 23rd of December. So I could have taken the flight in the afternoon or evening to the UK, but you know, I already made my decision then that I was going to stay in Portugal for Christmas. Yeah, so that's where the bit where I got to, where the doctor said everything was fine with my heart, and I still felt traumatized as anything. And then so on the 23rd, I got the results on the 23rd in the morning. I booked my train 23rd in the afternoon, and to go to Porto, where my friend is. So yeah, honestly, me being really weak, walking really monkey with my leg, my body, you know, dragging everything. But I'm persistent. I don't let anything put me down. I don't, you know. I'm actually, you know, when I put something in my mind, not just in my mind, I want to prove to myself that was absolutely fine. Everything was going to go away. All of a sudden, I was going to wake up from this nightmare. So I dragged myself to the train station, 2 hours on a train, and then, yeah, my friend picked me up. I could see he's extremely upset, but he was putting a brave face for me. He took me out to his house, his beautiful house. His house is so beautiful. Oh my God. When people go to see his house, they believe he's a millionaire. He's no millionaire, trust me. He built this house on this piece of land that his grandparents left for him as inheritance. So his grandparents, because people live in the interior of the country in Portugal, people back in the days, grandparents, they used to live on land, you know, and as they passed away, they handed over as inheritance to grandkids, their kids, etc. So he got a bit of the land. His sister got the house of his grandparents. So then he asked the bank for some loan, and then if that's how he got to build this house there. Beautiful, honestly. It's like being in a cinema. You know, the house is like big windows all over, 360 degrees, and then the view is at the top of this hill, and then oh my god, you just see trees, greenery in front of you, not even a single house. There are some houses, but the houses that are there so minor that you don't get to see them also, because the house is at the top of the hill. It's honestly so beautiful. So he took me to his house, we talked and everything. I went to bed early, you know. That's the first time I slept using those heated mattresses. Yes, never slept anything like that. So amazing. So yes, I spent Christmas with him, with his family, his mom. She couldn't hold herself when she saw me. She cried. But she tried to control herself, you know. She's a lovely lady. Yes, she cried a bit, but you know, that's how he was. So yeah, then spent with him until the 26th of December. Went back to, no, I didn't actually go back to Lisbon. No, I didn't. I actually took the plane back to UK from Porto. Still feeling extremely traumatized with the whole situation, and obviously there's the fact that there's the aneurysm in my head still, that thought there, and yeah, so I came back to UK, which by then already passed how many, 3 months in UK. Hang on, yeah, 3 months already. I came back to the UK, and so the hospital. So I came back to UK, no problem. I had spent that Christmas with my friend, and then the hospital. So yeah, back in UK, the hospital. The hospital still has not sent me that letter for me, for me to do the examination to assess how progressed was my aneurysm, because the hospital detected that I had some form of aneurysm, but they couldn't. Yeah, so the hospital where I got admitted after I had the stroke, they identified that I had an aneurysm, but they couldn't do much about it. So they sent my what do you call a no recommendation. What is it called when they send you to a specialist hospital? So anyway, they sent me to a specialist hospital over the country, and they said you should receive a letter from this hospital within the next 3 months. I said great. So already past 3 months, here back in UK. My husband did check whether I received any letters from this hospital. Is it John Paget? Is it John Paget Hospital? Is it a hospital in Cambridge? I can't remember quite the name. It's a name that specialises in that type of health problems. No letter received, so I phoned my GP, the doctor. So bloody rude. So rude, that doctor. So rude. And I tell you why. I'm a foreigner, so I think I'm allowed to say this. That's why when it comes to customer service or doctors and nurses, I much prefer to see English people. I'm sorry, white English people, native people from this land, because they're polite, they're caring, etc. I tell you why I know this doctor wasn't in English, because of her name. So I phoned my GP, general practitioner. So GP is where you see your family doctor. I phoned my GP and I said, listen, so I'm phoning to say that I haven't received a letter from this specialist or this hospital, I can't remember the name, something Paget Hospital. So I'm just going to find out what's going on, because I suffered a stroke. He said, so what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do about it? I said, what do you mean what I want to do? Oh, there's nothing I can do. What do you want me to do? I said, well, I was told to contact you if I hadn't received the letter yet. So, well, there's nothing I can do about it. I said, well, the people at the hospital where I suffered the stroke, they said if I don't receive anything by such date, I should contact you to find out what's going on. Well, there's nothing I can do about it. I was so shocked by the service of that doctor, right? And I tell you what, it wasn't even me who asked to speak to a doctor. I spoke to a receptionist about my case, and she said, right, I'm going to transfer you to the doctor that we've got right now, and you can speak to the doctor. And yeah, that doctor rude as F. So I spoke to my husband about it. I said, listen, I'm already paying for these exams in Portugal. My neurologist said everything is under control. So I'm not even going to chase for this exam anymore in UK, because perhaps it's going to traumatize me. So there you go. Just this. So perhaps if I go through this, it's just going to traumatize me even further. And he agreed with me, so yeah, let's do that. So I left it there because what's the point? So anyway, I've done all the exams in Portugal. Didn't receive the letter from this specialist in hospital. And now, yeah, is my first year of recovering. What I went through, what's going through my mind, yes, and that's going to be the next video. I'm sorry, I know it took me a long time to go through the result from the doctor, etc., but as I've said, I'm just going through what's in my mind is what I report to you. My mind is even me going back to these stories is traumatizing, so it's confusing to me. Obviously it was 5 years ago, so I can't tell exactly which order they go. What happened, for example, me telling you about the results that the doctor told me, and then I had to take a few steps back, go through the fact that I spent Christmas in Portugal. So I apologize for this, I really do apologize for this, but that's the process of my recovery still. Even though last week I celebrated 5 years of 0 stroke, which is amazing. I was so happy. I was counting every single day, every single year, and then I started counting down the months and then the days, and then the day before I was praying, please let me make it until tomorrow, because tomorrow is 5 years anniversary. So I'm still in that process of recovery, even though I've gone past the 5 years mark. There's a process of being mentally traumatized, physically traumatized. I still have problems with my speech, my memory. The right side of my body still isn't okay. I'm standing here but my leg is in pain, losing the strength on my hand, my arm, everything like that. So apologies if my videos are really slow and are confusing. And they're confusing with the stories, which I keep going back and forth, but that's the way it is. Yeah, that's the way it is. So I'm gonna finish here now, in terms of the story of the stroke. I'm going to carry on what the next stage was. The first 2 to 3 years of recovery, deep depression. As I said, I'm somebody who doesn't recognize depression. I don't even know what depression is, even though I suffered from deep depression. I can't, it's not that I recognize, I cannot identify myself. I cannot. So I actually had a chat with my husband sometime this week. He said, I'm concerned you're depressed. I said, I'm not depressed. He said, I know you believe that you're not, but I think that you are. The problem with you is that you can't identify yourself. And I don't want to get into this black hole like I did many years ago. And I said, okay, fair enough. Yeah, but I believe I'm not depressed. He said, good, but I'm going to keep an eye on you. That's what he said to me. So yeah, I'm going to go through all of that. Yes, I will go through all of that. So anyway, so I'm going to carry on preparing lunch today. Lunch kind of dinner. Is what time is it now? Is 1:45. I can't believe it. You know, the morning went so quick. So I've decided, because we hardly eat chicken in this household. Actually, we do eat chicken, but not as much as some people do. So I spoke to my husband a couple of days ago. I said, I like to eat fried chicken, you know, southern fried chicken. And then he said, yes, let's do that, because we hardly eat, we usually roast the chicken, and even roasted chicken is here and there. But fried chicken, when was the last time we had fried chicken? Maybe like, it's definitely before I had the stroke. So I had the stroke 5 years ago. It was way before I had the stroke. So you can imagine how far back we had fried chicken. And I said, yeah, I'm going to make fried chicken. So I looked for this recipe online. So the chicken stayed marinated in the fridge. So I just pounded some garlic, fresh garlic, all this fresh garlic, guys. I know US people, you like your dried stuff, dry herbs, not the rest of the world. The rest of the world like actually enjoy using fresh ingredients. So I pounded some fresh garlic with some salt, bay leaf, put some black pepper, and then I added some smoked pepper, smoked paprika, hot chili sauce. Not that chili sauce is hot, but it's not really, I taste it, doesn't taste of anything. It doesn't taste hot at all. I'm somebody who doesn't like hot. Well, I do like hot pepper, hot chili sauce. I'm lying that saying I don't. I do love it, and I've been really enjoying lately. But I don't eat in every single food. Nothing. I rarely eat it. Maybe I eat it once a month. You know, that hot chili sauce. So I taste in my mouth. I thought this isn't hot at all. So the fact that I don't even eat it sometimes once a month, hot chili sauce, my tongue should be sensitive to the heat. Should it not? That's what I believe. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? So I added some. So this noise is the washing machine. As I said, I've been crazy going around to tidy up the house. I've also put some tea towels in the washing machine to wash. Yeah, so I cut the chicken into pieces. I added the marinade mix. I'm sure I've added some other things. I just told you I've added. And then I've added some milk, because I looked at many recipes online, and they talk about adding, what's it called, buttermilk. And I thought, I don't have any buttermilk. I have no idea where to get buttermilk, so I'm just gonna use milk, because milk, the lactic acid also makes the skin, the meat really soft, tender. That's why I got the use of my understanding of the buttermilk. That's what they use it for, to tenderize the meat, because of lactic acid. So I don't have any buttermilk. I don't know where to get it from. So I'm just gonna add some milk. So yeah, so I've added some milk. It sat in the fridge overnight. Now I've added. Now I put some. Oh, that's ready. So then I've got a mixture here, which has got the flour, black pepper, and some salt. But I'm gonna cover the chicken for a bit. And I'll tell you something. I don't know about frying chicken, but I know about frying other things, other meats and fish. You should never cover the chicken with the flour and fry immediately, because if you do that, the crust, the flour starts falling off immediately. No, you should let it sit for at least 10 minutes, so the flour stays stuck to the chicken. 10 minutes. All right, so I'm gonna end the video today, and yeah, well, I hope you're having a good day wherever you are. I really do hope you're having a good day. I hope you did enjoy the video today, even though I know too slow to tell just one thing, but you kept me really you kept me company, and I really enjoyed it. When I went for a really short walk to the shop to buy the oil to fry the chicken. Thank you for keeping me company. Really do. I really appreciate it. It's also the time, because I'm at home sometimes I don't have time to record, and the fact I just quickly go to the shop, that's the opportunity for me to take the camera out and record some material. So anyway, if you like this video, please, 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 please like. You don't have to subscribe, at least just like it. If you don't, also press the thumbs down thing button, and also comment what do you like about it, why did you not like about it. Please do, because it really helps me to organize my thoughts. It really does. So yeah, yes, yeah. All right then. I'm gonna go. Like I said to you, I'm gonna try to convince my husband. I hope he accepts it at some point. I don't think he will, but I'm being hopeful that he will, because he says no to me, but he's such a softie to me that I'm sure he'll end up saying yes if I carry on pestering him. But I can't pester him too much, otherwise I get upset as well. Yeah, so I'm gonna carry on in my day. Well, I hope you guys have a lovely day wherever you are, whether it's Sunday, Saturday, Tuesday, Monday, or whatever day of the week, whether it's morning, evening. I hope you're having a fabulous day. As I always say, if you're feeling down, just go for a walk. Please go for a walk. I know I always say this at the end of this video, but it's to motivate you guys, because going for walks, it helped me a lot with my recovery, not just physically, also mentally. So I'm gonna say this in every single video I record. Please go for a walk. Start with 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Just even open the door, put one foot out of your front door, and then you put it back in if you don't feel like going for a walk. And then take 2 steps, go back, 3 steps, go back, until you're doing half an hour walks. And then what you realize, you're gonna be doing 1 hour walks, 2 hours walks. Sometimes I do. And I do these walks, really long walks, but I don't record when I do these walks, because those moments too long. Those walks are really long. They're just moments that I like to take for myself. Anyway, again, I take forever to say goodbye to you guys. Have a lovely day. Hope you're enjoying your lunch, dinner, breakfast, evening, morning, afternoon, tea, whatever you do. I hope you're having a lovely day. All right then.